Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. This is going to be a special in-person podcast. Got Fabio, got Reggie with me, and we're going to have Chris joining us in a moment. And welcome to the Zen Lounge. We're going to be talking about Corium. We're going to be talking about Sologenic, and you guys are in Vegas for XRP Vegas, right?
Yeah, I just landed. Happy to be here, Sen. I think it's the first time we're being kind of like a podcast setting in person. It feels different. It feels better than Zoom. I'm cozy. How are you feeling, Reggie?
I feel great, man. It was a very short flight. It's cool atmosphere, a lot of enthusiasm. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
Great. So let's start with a introduction. So a lot of people know Fabio. Fabio, give a quick introduction. What do you do for Sologenic and Coreum?
Sure. So at the moment, I'm the head of growth and partnerships for both Sologenic and Coreum. I basically run a team that focuses on generating new avenues to expand the network through partnerships, through listings, through projects, integrations, bridges, a lot of stuff that is just beneficial for the ecosystem to grow on Sologenic side of things and Corium, the network to be expanded. And that's what Reggie comes in. He kind of, just to jump on a little bit on what you do, he's the director, so he oversees the direction where we are heading towards, specifically with Corium. Grantees, projects, and I'll let you elaborate on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a network expansion. So getting lots of developers on board, getting users on board, liquidity on board. So just growing the whole ecosystem as much as we can by orders of magnitude. That's the goal. So, we're starting out, we're just a startup. So yeah, we want to grow it, exponentially. So that's our goal, basically.
A lot of the community has some questions. Can you share a little bit about your background with Tendermint and Ripple, and you touch some light on that?
Yeah, so I was at Ripple, the very early days when they were just starting out. I was there for a few years. Then I was a Tendermint contributor as well. So I had my hands in the crypto space for a while. Prior to that, I was on the software side of things, actually in the video game industry, just as a developer working at Relic in Vancouver. So I'm from Vancouver. So it's been a long journey from software to marketing and business development. So I've had my hands in quite a few different pots.
I'm excited to get to know you more, and this is going to be awesome to have you on the team. I know a lot of people are really excited to see you join, and so let's get started with some of the questions. So I wanted to do this. My video, a lot of people who watch my content are very familiar with Sologenic, but let's just start pretend nobody's ever heard about it. So let's pretend this is the first time someone is hearing about Sologenic. Can you tell us more about the project, your goals, the vision as a team, and ecosystem you guys are developing?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the phrase that summarizes the best what Sologenic does is this: the one-stop shop for all things XRPL. It's a sophisticated ecosystem build on these rails that are secure, fast, and basically we focus on digital asset management and letting users be in control of their assets at all times. So that meaning when you're trading on a DEX, if Sologenic for some reason stops being a company, you can still hold your assets. We don't hold any custody of the assets. It's a decentralized platform. And we take this premise onto not just the DEX, but the NFT marketplace as well. Every decision, every feature we've incorporated is focused on, decentralization and self-custody. And then the main feature of Sologenic is also bringing a new asset class into blockchain, which is tokenized real-life assets like securities, commodities, ETFs. And we're starting with securities. We're launching a pilot program this year. And we just hope to bridge the gap between those, traditional finance assets and blockchain-based assets.
It's a big trend. That's what BlackRock, that's what all the big players are talking about, real-world assets coming to the blockchain. That's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of researching Sologenic. So you guys recently launched a new tool on the Sologenic platform, the IDO Launchpad. Can you tell us more about this and why it's useful and why people should be excited about this new development?
For sure. So IDO, the fastest way to explain it, I like to compare it to IPOs, of course. So IPO is an initial public offering. When a company is about to go public, they do this. And one of the characteristics of doing an IPO is that just a few people have access to it. Few people have access to that early possibility to hold a share on a new company and exponentially make profits. So with an IDO, it's an initial DEX offering, meaning it's completely decentralized and open for all users on the chain that want to participate. And it just allows the startups to to raise funds directly on chain without having through a middleman, without having to go through a middleman, and just promote it directly on the blockchain without having to resource to Web2 platforms.
This is exciting. I know you guys put out a call to action, like looking for projects. Did you guys get good feedback on that? Any updates there?
Yeah, really good feedback. One thing I do have to mention as an IDO, it's a bit tricky to promote because we cannot directly incentivize any token purchases. We don't even do it with our own token, and we will not do it with the projects that we're listing on. So it's more focusing on the tech. What does it offer compared to other IDOs? So we've focused on making the process as seamless as possible. So you can go into Sologenic, issue your own XRPL token. So you're a newbie to this whole thing. You issue your own token, you get it listed on the market index, you can create an IDO offering, you can promote it on chain, and then users that have those tokens can instantly trade it on the DEX. They can create new liquidity pairs. So I think that's the value. It's just having that full ecosystem equipped for user onboarding.
Didn't you say you could also like program an airdrop with it too? Is that true?
They can do airdrops as part of the promotional tools that the IDO offers. And we're excited to see real, projects bring value to the XRP ledger. And I think it's a good way to incentivize ledger activity as well and growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a cool tool. I think it'll lead to a lot of interesting projects getting funding. I think it's obviously we can't mention.
One thing we have to say is, it being easy to participate, open to everybody, it also makes it prone to, scams, rug pulls, and we are aware of that. And that's why we introduced the trust score system, which is basically a barometer that represents community sentiment in a way. It can not be easily manipulated because to submit a vote, you have to verify the transaction on the ledger. So it kind of adds that underlying layer of trust.
Well, any permissionless DEX, there's going to be scams, rug pulls, and implementing that trust score is going to help protect, novice investors know what to look like. There'll be like red flag warnings, right? So that's going to be super huge. The next development that's on the roadmap. So I was looking at your guys' roadmap for Q2. It said IDO Launchpad. The next thing on the timeline is XLS30. I just seen Reza basically post a prototype. Did find out that there's, going to be some delays with XLS30, but any updates there that you want to share?
Sure. I think that this new amendment is going to bring a lot of new liquidity to the XRPL. I'm really excited for it, but like you said, the infrastructure has to be solid for us to build on top of it. But having said that, we were in close contact with the Ripple team, and we're ready to implement XLS30 whenever it gets voted on and approved. Yeah.
So we just have to wait for the proposal to come in, the validators to vote, and you guys are ready to go. So it'll be like a flip of the switch, ready once the proposal goes through.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it works and we see that it really provides value for our users, we'll flip the switch, like you said. Yeah.
So next, this is also like one of the most popular questions of the community is any updates on the solo cards? Everyone's really excited for solo cards. Have you guys come up with any updates there?
Yeah, of course. So at the beginning, we had one solution that required custody. And then we came up to another option that was completely self-custody. It was right after the FTX collapse. So everyone was shifting towards the kind of solutions. Hey, Chris. And okay, let's give it a welcome to Chris as she just arrived.
Sorry I'm late. Hi, nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. Hi, Reggie. Nice to see you in person as well.
So, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, sure. I'm Chris. I'm from the marketing team at Corium and Sologenic. Started a little while ago, so super excited to be working with the growth and partnerships team, and excited that I get to come out and meet everybody in person and go to these events.
Excited to have you here. I actually have some questions for you too. So, yeah.
Go easy on Chris. It's her first podcast.
This is my first podcast.
This is all of our first podcast together in person, right? So
yes.
Yeah. So you said you had the first option with the card wasn't going to be fully decentralized, and you guys are basically that's what's taking longer is you want to make it fully.
So there's with the whole market. I wouldn't say collapse, but with everything that happened, the regulations got a bit more tightened. And just the card providers as well as the banks, they have certain limitations, and that's what is taking so long, more like the due diligence process. But we're hoping to roll out that product in Europe and the UK first, of course. We do have that list that we signed up the early access. We still have it. We haven't forgotten about it. But at the same time, we're looking at different options, different jurisdictions. So as soon as we have an update and being in close contact with Uphold, there's some synergies there too, as they're partnered with MasterCard. Nothing is specific I can disclose, but I'm just going to say that we are on top of that. We're just looking for the best solution to be competitive against other options in the market, like the Crypto.com card. That we really want to make something that can compete against that. Yeah.
Well, I did see that MasterCard did select Uphold as one of their like collaborators. So that'll be a good partnership. And actually, that leads into this next question I have. I have noticed you guys have developed a relationship with Uphold. It appears from my perspective. Can you tell us more about how that came to be and what the relationship is like right now?
Sure. So I would say it's been a really, really positive relationship in a sense that if you compare it to other exchanges, we are in touch with a lot of exchanges, and some of them they're a bit hectic in the way they go about the process. It's not really they don't really focus on the research. They're more focused on the profits. And everyone knows this, I don't think centralized exchanges are like the cancer of the industry. No, I still think adoption comes through them. Like adoption comes through institutions. Like I don't think my mom, for example, is going to remember the key phrases for the decentralized wallet. They still have to go to an exchange, create a password, go to the Web2 process, KYC. But Uphold was one of the partners the process worked really well. We found a lot of synergy because they are into enterprise-grade solutions as well with Corium.
Very professional.
Very professional. And marketing-wise, it just made sense. We did a big push previous to the airdrop. They have supported the airdrop. And a lot of people know that Uphold has been a long-time supporter of XRP. So there was synergies there too. A lot of our community used them and they wanted to see Solo and Corium there. So we made it happen together. Yeah, it was good.
So you're going to be speaking on stage with Nancy Beaton, right?
Yeah. We were just there like an hour ago. Super nice. And we're going to be talking about tokenization and how we're bringing this into new markets. And they, like I said, they have an institutional arm where they offer this to more like large level investors. And I think there's huge opportunity there. There's opportunity for them to be a KYC partner for some of the stuff we want to do. It's very early to speak about it, but I think overall it's a good partnership we have going on.
You should tell Uphold to set up a validator. They should have a validator in Corium, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
But you're talking about tokenization, so that goes right into my next question because that's really what's going to set Sologenic apart from the other DEXs out there, the other projects out there, right? So how is the tokenization pilot coming around? Like, has there been progress? Also, I would love to know about the UAE, what's going on there, any updates? And this is a loaded question, but also the broker-dealer. So they all kind of connect, but can any of you guys touch on that?
Yeah, I can certainly touch a little bit on it, but just to make sure, it's not my team directly that handles the securities market license. Of course, we have a team that does research and just overall oversees the product launch on that side. But what can I say is the broker-dealer license is going forward. We are acquiring an offshore license and we hope to launch this project as a pilot first in certain jurisdictions. We have our eyes on the UAE because it's the one that has the most clear regulation. And I've seen some recent news that projects have acquired a rightful license to launch this type of product. So we want to be among the first ones as well. Considering that Sologenic's main user base is also in Germany. I don't know if you knew this, but Germany is like a top 3 user base wise. And we actually want to at some point hit the EU as well. But like I said, we started with the broker-dealer in Seychelles, and we're just going to go from there. And there are some other ideas with external market makers, external exchanges that might come into place as partners to bring it to other jurisdictions as well. But yeah, everything, don't take my word for it. We are kind of like waiting for that first big, for that pilot to go live. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's pretty bullish right there. a few more questions regarding Sologenic, then I want to get into Corium. So also on your roadmap, you guys are developing a new mobile application. Should we be excited about this? Have you seen it yourself?
Yeah, I'm excited for that because it was recent during, the team was very focused on Corium for a bit. I'm going to say my team, not the dev team, because dev teams, want to clarify, is they're completely different teams. Like the Sologenic development team is in a different time zone that Corium blockchain team is completely different. But now they are revamping not just the mobile application, they're revamping the whole site. So the DEX and the NFT marketplace are going to have new designs. I think the NFT marketplace is being rolled out next week, along with the IDO Launchpad. And yeah, we're excited for it. One of the features I'm excited for is that now, since we're working with Simplex for fiat on-ramping, they support Canada. So now we can onboard Canadian users in a more easier way, so they can activate XRP wallets easier.
Oh, wow. That's going to be happening when?
I think 10 to 20 days. But yeah, it's just a matter of, we have Bankstar right now, so we're just going to add one more on-ramp. We've been in talks for a while, but it's just now that they have that opportunity to expand to Canada that we're just going to roll it out. And overall, NFT marketplace side of things, there are more updates as well. We're working with some of the creator fund grantees from Ripple and just bring in more, like, for example, music projects. Another project we did recently is the Thinking Crypto, which is kind of like a first test on using the owner exclusive content functionality on chain. What we want to try to do there is just provide a way to token gate stuff directly on the DEX, directly on the platform, without having to go through Discord or other type of community management tools. So, yeah.
Great. So, Chris, this one's actually for you. I love the emails that you send out to keep us updated. We always get kind of a head start. So make sure you guys join the email list because we get a head start of the news.
It is going to be a head start. We're going to plan on releasing stuff on the newsletter first, kind of just to incentivize people to read it, especially if we have everything posted on Twitter. We need people to look at the newsletter. So we'll post stuff on there that we don't even post on Twitter, and then just early updates there as well. So definitely follow that for sure.
So you got to go to sologenic.org, then go to newsletter, and then you sign up?
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the page. There's like a place to fill it out for Sologenic and Coreum as well.
So what else do you have planned to keep the community engaged? I just found out that like a lot of the top 1,000 projects, their engagement with the community has gone way down, and you guys are still engaging a lot. But like, do you have anything else planned to keep the community engaged through this time in the market?
Yeah, definitely. Something that we just started doing in the beginning of May was a community leadership program for Corium specifically. And that has been really awesome because we've onboarded a niche group of like high profile, influential people in the space to kind of be community leaders, not necessarily show the project, but these people are people who are interested in Corium or the XRP community. And they're going to be speaking about our updates, our tech updates, and about what we're building on Corium. So we're really excited to have them on board and be so excited about the project too. So that's something I'm working on right now, and I work with the creators. So that's been really fun. We're going to do a second wave of these grants as well for these influential figures in the space for people who are in different countries as well. So we want people to kind of market Corium in different languages and reach people that we normally couldn't because we post everything in English. And we want people to hear about Corium in their own language and in a way that makes sense to them.
That's very smart. That's very smart.
And just touching up more on that, and content is king when it comes to social media.
Mm-hmm.
And this next quarter, we're really focusing on it. We have a new position as well, the team that's going to be focused on content. We're trying to revamp the podcast again.
Nice.
But I do have to say, the previous months, it was kind of hard because launching a layer 1 blockchain, guys, it's a lot of work. It was a lot of work to onboard, validators, wallets, and just make sure everything was smooth for the launch. But I feel like the key next 9 months are what's going to determine the success of it. And we're not leaving Sologenic behind as well. Like I said, all of the updates are coming on the NFT marketplace, the DEX side of things. We're also trying to do more educational content on it. And what is the use case of these IDOs? What is the use case of all of this that we have?
Like you said, it's 2 separate teams. They're both working hard. So it's
yeah.
We can't complain.
No.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Some of the narratives on Twitter, it seems like you guys still are fully going after the Sologenic development. One other question from the Sologenic community that's very common on Twitter is they all want to know what's going on with that the airdrop. So there's supposed to be that final airdrop. Do you know any details about the
I think we did a
solo
tweet.
holders for Corium? You guys have tweeted it, but is there any like updates on that? Like that's still for sure going to happen, right?
Yeah. I think we tweeted about it that it's gonna happen. I just don't know when. That's very like sensitive information
do
that
you
we
know
don't
if it's
even
going to
know.
be based
Yeah.
on the old snapshot or is it going to be based on like a new snapshot, you think?
I don't know, but from my opinion, I think the old would make sense. What do you think?
The old snapshot would make sense. However, I think it would be smart to incentivize the holders now, right? Like give the people that are still holding a benefit.
But
So-
wouldn't
but
the
then people will
old
still be really
holders
mad about it,
complain?
right?
Yeah.
People are going to be mad either way.
Well, that's one thing when it comes to airdrops and just token distributions. Every time someone's gonna complain. Every time someone that didn't set up the trust line correctly. But in general, we want to do the best decision for the community. So I'll bring it up to evaluate. But I think the old one would make more sense in my opinion.
So are there any clues to, you guys seen the Bob Ross post recently? Everyone's going crazy trying to decode it, figure out what he said more than meets the eye. He posted about Dubai. Anything you guys know anything about that?
Well, we know Bob's in Dubai.
We know he's in Dubai for sure. Yeah.
No, like
So no cryptic clues. You guys haven't uncovered it yet.
No. Honestly, Bob's tweets, we leave it up to him. We have no influence in that.
He manages his own
He
Twitter.
manages his own
Yeah.
Twitter, which compared to other CEOs might not be the case, but he's genuine and
He's very genuine.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of other CEOs who have ghostwriters. Not him, man.
he likes to be involved.
He's
in
very involved
everything.
with what we do. Yeah.
Wow. So anything else the community should be aware of that I didn't ask regarding Sologenic specifically?
I don't know, guys. Why am I forgetting? There's a lot of stuff.
I know. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
everything that I've seen.
No, there's some things we can't mention yet.
Yeah.
And
Just for Sologenic, right? We're talking about Sologenic.
Yeah, I'm finishing up Sologenic. We're gonna move on to Corium right after this. So if there's nothing
for
else, we can move on.
Well, we're rolling out Sologenic Prime. It was kind of hard because we selected from the first batch of applicants a few projects, and these projects they are already sold out before we even were able to roll out the feature. So we kind of looking for new projects, and we're gonna launch again the submission forms for any other new artists or utility-driven projects that want to join. What else? Well, the Sologenic NFT SDK, I feel like we didn't talk much about it, but a lot of projects are already implementing it, and it basically allows you to implement Sologenic's methodology for NFT minting and trading on the XRPL and add onto it some special features like randomized minting, bulk signing, and just building your own UI to still offer the same type of NFT minting on your own
That's
site.
gonna be the randomization is gonna be big. That's gonna help, I think.
Yeah, but there's more possibilities. I want to see more projects doing it, and we fully support anyone that is using the SDK to reach out and let's collaborate and let's do something together for sure.
Okay, now let's get into Corium. So from your guys' perspective, we could go like each person could share their perspective.
Start with Reggie.
What is special? There's tons of layer ones and there's a bunch of layer ones coming out. What is special about Corium from your perspective, Reggie?
So we're focusing on enterprise first, right? So we feel like, if you want to grow this space, I think the next level of adoption will come from enterprises. I think a lot of them are kind of wary of like blockchain, and we kind of want to make it easy for them. Hey, we have layer one blockchain figured out for you. It has all the tools. It's very easy to implement. You can build on it very quickly. And we want enterprises to be excited by that. And we want developers to focus their efforts a little more on the enterprise side of things. Because not only the technology, but the programs beside, like we want to bring enterprises and introduce them to developers who are making MVPs, who are making these sort of like small little applications, but can be scaled to fit the needs of giant enterprises. So we want to be that person, that middleman that brings these two different organizations together. I feel like that's going to be very special, and I feel like developers are really going to latch onto that.
And I guess we're not following the typical route of just getting a DEX NFT marketplace and like DeFi protocols. That's we're going on a counterintuitive approach and just getting the actual use case first. That has to do with what Reggie mentioned. I feel like that's the main difference. Like the enterprise grade features that Corium has, like on-chain KYC, setting specific transactions that are conditional. Using smart tokens. The smart tokens is kind of like our biggest focus right now. And I can tell you a bit of other use cases that we've researched on, like, for example, custom payment solutions, which involves retail rewards programs, nonprofit fundraising, gaming platforms, just overall that transferability and secure ownership of value in the blockchain. And then another one that was interesting was decentralized insurance, which just allows you to fully automate and make policies transparent. Just leave it to code. I guess that has to do with smart contracts, but when we take it to smart tokens, it's just that possibility of them being faster, extendable, programmable, and just more secure, not prone to exploits and hacks like we've seen in other.
So compliance is very important for us and very important for enterprises. So that's one of the features, or lack of a better word, that we really want to focus on. It's enterprise. It's the CRMs. It's huge enterprises that they want to be sure that nothing's going to get stolen. All the information is highly encrypted, and we focus on that. And I feel like that's sort of the next step. And when I was speaking to developers at the hackathon, I made it abundantly clear that these are the features that we have. This is what you can do with them, and it's seeing their eyes light up, like just giving them these tools, they just want to run with them. And
what's your thoughts on? Do you think the WASM technology is going to be a big key to bringing on the next wave of all the developers coming?
I feel like we were getting lots of developers who don't necessarily build in this space. Since we are Cosmos-based, and a lot of them are familiar with WebAssembly, that's a key motivator for them. It's like, this is very easy for me to jump in now. And the fact that we're focused on enterprise, it makes it like economically viable, I feel like. Even though, internally we have our grant program, we have the hackathon, we have these different programs. I feel like if you develop the ecosystem where they themselves can develop an MVP and have it be marketed at enterprises, have enterprises be introduced to them, that makes it very special, and it makes their studios, survive and be profitable and grow. So that's one of our focuses too, is to help.
What is the MVP?
Oh, minimum viable product. So basically anything, just a basic application, basically.
Okay.
So any sort of application, essentially, that uses technology.
You just mentioned about Texas. So you're just in Texas. Any exciting projects out there? Any insights on the projects we could see coming to build?
Well, I can't mention anything specifically, but there are, people are running wild with what we're doing. I think, I was introduced to so many video game companies, movie production companies that want to tokenize sort of the production process. And so you as an investor, you could just you could buy this token, you could buy an NFT and have value into the production. And actually, once that movie is released, you get some of that money back. So I think that's pretty cool. I was like, okay. So these are the type of projects that people are, starting to build, starting to get licenses for, which is also very important. And I feel like that's sort of the next step if we want to get more user adoption. I feel like that speaks to the kind of the average person a little bit more. Versus DEXs or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, no, it's interesting you mentioned the license, because when we talk to these grantees, sometimes what they have, perhaps they don't have the fully finished product, but they have licenses to put it to market, and that makes it interesting, that they have a business model, which is what we're looking for overall. We don't want a project that just builds something that they're going to drop if they don't have the funding. We want a business model that is sustainable on its own.
Yeah, that's absolutely. The sustainability is very important. We want, we had, I think, almost close to 200 grant submissions for the Wave 2.
Yeah.
And we've narrowed it down to about 20-30. And we really did look at sustainability. After the grant money runs out, which inevitably will, we want them to be able to survive and have a business model with revenue streams coming in. So we want, exactly, for them to survive and to flourish, really. And it makes us look good as a blockchain. We don't want to be a blockchain known for dead projects, and which a lot of blockchains sadly are known for. So
Cosmos, let's talk about Cosmos real quick, because there's a huge Cosmos ecosystem, and this technology is like growing. If you were from Tendermint back in the day, it probably feels good seeing the evolution of Cosmos.
I think if you the whole belief system is that it's a federation of individual blockchains. I don't think people appreciated it as much, back in the day. I think they appreciate it much more now because, as we've seen, it's with the bridges and whatnot. If a point of failure happens, it happens through a bridge. If
there's been billions in the bridge hacks.
I don't.
That's why I like CosmWasm.
Yeah, exactly.
CosmWasm.
With the IBC, that's. I don't think that'll ever happen. I mean, it's highly secure. It's a very base layer 0. I think if you have third parties developing layer 0 solutions, but I feel like this is the best one. I think people appreciate it now a little bit more.
You guys are aiming to be the tokenization hub. Is that correct? Like that's what's going to differentiate, like make yourself different in them. Is that what the whole goal is?
Not necessarily. I mean, we're open to tokenization, but it could be any project that suits the needs of enterprises, CRMs or whatever it might be. It's solutions which enterprises, because many enterprises, they might be aware of blockchain, but they're wary of it. How does it fit their business model? So we want to be the bridge that fits their business model, basically, and allows them
at the same time being a community-owned blockchain.
Exactly.
So that's the key, because you can provide this middle service as a private company and just charge for it and have like a private blockchain system that it's incorporated into enterprise solutions. But the key in Corium is that we're building that, but being community-owned in a sense,
And that's because you guys airdrop 70% of the tokens?
70% of the total allocation, yes.
And I think that's really important that there's a community behind the technology. I think that regulators going to look at that in the future. Like, does the community own majority of the tokens or not?
And not just regulators. Every time we talk to some tier 1 tier 1 exchanges, they look into it. They look how much of the token allocation does the team hold. Who are the equity holders of the project? What else? Is there any vesting? There's a lot of variables, right? Like that can affect market. And we're really careful with that. Like even during the community event that we did for the launch, we didn't want it to be like we're launching a new product as a company. It's more like everyone is participating in this mainnet launch. That's why we invited the solo OGs. They've been a big part of our community, and we really want them to be part of the process. Yeah.
So here's a funny one. Did any of you guys become millionaires on Pepe? Did any of you guys buy it?
Unfortunately not. I just heard about it. Yeah.
So there's something interesting though. So especially, this would be a good one for you, Reggie, because I don't know if you noticed, but there's this meme coin on Ethereum called Pepe that's like taking the crypto markets by storm. And there's billions of dollars in volume in Pepe. Yeah. But the problem is the Ethereum gas fees are soaring. And Vitalik and all of them were saying Ethereum 2.0 was supposed to help with that. And one meme coin pumps, and we're all finding out that the fees are still very high. That's got to be really important for enterprises to have some type of predictability, right? Like some type of...
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing with Ethereum before the merge, and now I guess even after the merge now. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't want to throw like eggs at them, but...
but there's a reason why we didn't build in Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean, I think... with Cosmos, I think, specifically with the technology that we're developing, I mean, it's high throughput. It's being tested. It's designed to allow enterprises to flourish, basically. Yeah, like you said, like if transactions fees go into the several $100s, it just eats into. It's not economically viable, and we wouldn't be in this space if that was the case. So our project.
Those microtransactions aren't really possible, right? When the fees are so high.
No, absolutely not.
So on Corium, that phenomenon wouldn't happen?
No, I don't think so. I think our system's way different. Our engineering is way different. It's just, I mean, on Cosmos, specifically what we're doing, I think, just high throughput and sustainable throughput, I feel like. And even if you had a meme coin on here, I don't think it would...
No.
I think it's like less than a penny to do a transaction, right?
Yeah,
it's like super cheap.
Yeah.
And I mean, the team is still working on it.
Yeah,
it's not
I
like
mean,
we launched the blockchain. It's like sitting there. No, they're still testing, stress testing the network to find out higher throughput solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Corium has ability to become even faster, even better. Like we're only in the beginning stages. And another thing about Corium, it's very easy to upgrade and make better and better, right? Cosmos chains.
Yeah, modular in design, super easy to reiterate, I think is very important. And very easy for a team to build together, I feel like. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I feel like that is true.
My first interest in that was through the wallets, like just seeing what features they ask you, what did you inherit from Cosmos and what is new to Corium, and just their ability to integrate that easily and just overall integrate applications within applications. It's very modular, like you said, is nice for scalability.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Cosmos ecosystem. I covered it on my channel too, the other projects. But let's get back into Corium. So what are the next steps? You guys could all chime in. What are the next steps? Give us a roadmap. Let's say someone's staking Corium. They need some hopium right now.
Hopium.
What are the next steps to give us a roadmap, a vision for the future for Corium ecosystem? I know you guys have like hackathons, universities you're targeting. Can you guys chime in on the next steps to get us excited?
Like you said, lots of events we're going to, sponsoring events, sponsoring hackathons. But I think something that's very different with our chain is that we're focused on universities too, just to educate students. And I'd like them for this to be their introduction into Cosmos as well. We have different tracks. I mean, we have certification. You can be certified with our chain, which I think would help them in terms of their, ability to get employment in the future. But we also have our grant program. So any interesting projects that come from universities, I think they're in a good space with us. So we feel like the next generation of applications, developers, right, it's going to come from the students. It's going to come from people who are just starting out on their engineering career. And they're the ones who are going to like really, test the waters and really build something that doesn't, we can't even fathom at this point in time, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you give us a specific example of a university you're looking at? Like, are they going to be USA universities? Or
definitely North America first. Though, I can't really mention too much about our worldwide efforts at the moment, but definitely North America first. We're Canadian, so definitely Canadian universities and universities in California. So that's our primary target right now, just to get this program off the ground. But definitely, yeah, it feels like with the momentum we have, it's going to be the sky's the limit.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in LATAM as well.
Yeah.
Just leveraging that the team speaks Spanish. And overall, there's a lot of opportunities there, regulations-wise, and a lot of events happening there as well. And when we sponsor events now, we have it clear there's a lot of competition between layer ones. And that's why, for example, for this hackathon at Consensus, we decided to put the how do you call it? The biggest prize.
Yeah, the prize pool. We have the biggest, like double anybody else. So it's we wanted to come out with a statement, say, hey, this
we're here to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got a bigger grant than Polkadot, Solana, and XCC?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 100,000 total grant prize. First prize 75,000, second prize 25,000, and yeah, it's obviously milestone based, but it's the best grant you could possibly get. So if I was a student or I was an independent developer, I'd be super excited. I think your opportunity.
Didn't actually Vitalik get started with the 100K grant, right? Building. That's another story for another day.
Yeah.
So 100K is good.
And the workshops are coming, right? Like we did first, and then the next one.
What happened with that? Did that get published? I missed it.
I think it was published. It was live.
Yeah, but the first one was more like a fireside chat,
yeah,
like Q&A. Like
where do you guys post it?
This was on Zoom. It was privately for the hackathon.
Hacker Earth.
Oh, okay.
Posted by Hacker
I
Earth.
missed that one.
But the second one, we're going to post it on YouTube everywhere. It's going to be with the Corium tech team actually making a tutorial on how to, what are they going to do in the first one?
I think it's still being decided. I have to double check, but
but they're going to go through everything from like creating an NFT model on Corium or building a smart contract on Corium.
It's an nitty-gritty on the technical side.
Yeah.
That's what we need now at this stage of the game. Chris, anything else? You mentioned a few things in your roadmap. Anything else? The roadmap, vision for the future of Corium?
I guess just seeing the team and hearing about what Corium has in store is very exciting. I get to see what happens behind the scenes, which a lot of people don't get to. So, everyone's wondering like, what's next? But we have so many things that we're building and so many things that we're working on and expanding visibility for Corium. So I'm very excited and very hopeful for the future of Corium. And it's an awesome project, awesome team. Everybody works super hard. So I'm just really happy to be part of the team and also just so hopeful for Corium. It's going to be a really, really good year.
I gotta mention that it is hard to build a Web3 or like blockchain native business and marketing team. It's most people that do marketing don't know about blockchain, and most people that are blockchain, they don't know a thing about marketing. And I don't know. I feel like Chris has been a great addition to the team, and like we keep expanding. We've been expanding during the bear market because I think it's a good time to build and just to train. And we in the end, marketing in blockchain is just having a good product. So we end up wearing several hats and just working on making the best communication channels between the product side of things and the people that are going to use it or build on it.
I like the quick videos, TikTok style videos.
Thank
it always
you.
really breaks it down.
I do want to work on doing more of those just to kind of show people step by step on what we're working on or just showing visuals of products and things like that.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. Fabio, anything else that you need to add for the roadmap vision for Corium?
I think we've touched a few of the key points. I'm gonna let you guys know every time we sponsor an event. In terms of listings, we're trying to be very strategic in terms of what markets we want to tackle. So if we list somewhere, we want to have another component that is doing marketing to just reach those users other than just through the exchange. So I think that has to do with what Chris mentioned of onboarding community leaders by top regions. I think that's a good strategy to go around. What else do we have? Yeah.
I think we just touched on pretty much everything. There's some things we can't say.
Yeah,
because it's
that's
top
what
secret right
I'm
now.
thinking about
I'm
too.
really bad at it. So if you keep me talking, I'm gonna say a lot of stuff that I shouldn't.
And we have NDAs. It's
So-
like,
You gotta give us,
He's gonna keep me talking then.
You gotta give us some alpha today. So we gotta get some. We'll save it for the end. If someone watched this whole entire video, the whole hour long, you gotta give them some juice. But we're finishing up this interview. We started off with Sologenic. Now we're talking about Corium. How do you guys see both of these projects working together in harmony? How do you see them, being like the synergy between the two, or is there any?
I guess I have to elaborate on that. Basically, I mean, the vision with Corium is ideally we want to have native projects build something like what we have on Sologenic in Corium, right? We want projects to build an NFT marketplace or a DEX at some point. But like I said, it's not of our main focus at the beginning. We want to build actual use cases that then can provide more value when someone develops this kind of platforms. But at the same time, yes, at some point, we do want them to be interoperable. We already set up the bridge, which is unidirectional at the moment, but at some point...
Yeah. So will there be a bridge going back to the XRP? Like, will that bridge evolve over time, become more better?
Yeah, I think it's in the roadmap. In terms of Sologenic as well, for the tokenization side of things, there's a lot of potential to actually build that component as in Corium as well. Not necessarily like as a competition or anything like that. It's just different use cases with different chains. But yeah, the whole purpose of Corium at the beginning, it's like with Sologenic, we realized there was something lacking, or not necessarily lacking, but there was more to explore with the asset tokenization with smart contracts that we didn't have in the XRPL. And that's why we built our own layer 1 after 2 years of just development and research. So yes, definitely there's going to be more synergies between both in the future.
Okay, guys. Well, this has been a great episode. Super happy to have you guys here. Anything else happening behind the scenes you could reveal? Some type of exciting news that we could have coming up in the next few weeks.
He wants you to say something new.
You gotta ask me something more specific. There's so much going on that I don't know.
We mentioned there, I don't know if we could bring this up, but you mentioned there's going to be someone pretty dynamic joining the team soon.
Yeah, I cannot mention that. But I mean, like I mentioned, the securities market team, it's separate from my team in the sense that they work directly with the regulations and just research overall which jurisdictions we can tackle first. And yes, we would have a new hire in that sector coming soon.
Well, you already gave me so much information about the pilots and the UAE and everything with Sologenic and everything you guys are doing with Corium. So, yeah, any last things you guys want to share? Reggie, do you want to share anything to the community before we close this out?
Something that you mentioned that I almost forgot is about the delegations on the validator side of things, that we are totally aware of it, and we're delegating more to some of the community ones and just onboarding new validators as well. So
do you think we're always going to stay at 32 validators, or will it grow as the network grows? Like, will we get bigger validator set, or do you want to keep it small for the speed?
It depends. The way the technology is built, it can definitely grow and still be fast. Like we said, it's still in development. It's still being iterated on. So,
and I gotta say, we have some pretty reputable institutional validators, and there's more to come. Like, it's part. I think when you build relationships, if they are able to not only participate in that partnership, but also be part of the success of it, like becoming a validator. It just really sets the path for stronger relationships, like the one that we have with, for example, Kirok or Informal Systems, which is an infrastructure partner. Huobi, leading exchange, Hashkey. There's a lot, and I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table as well as we continue to grow. So
I'm sure some of the grant winners, the devs building, will also probably want to make a validator too.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you're watching this podcast, Zen Lounge, if you want to support these channels, this content, Zen Lounge, we're number 3 validator on the chain. So you could stake to Zen Lounge and help, this type of stuff that we do for the community. So I have a validator live on. It was actually an amazing process going through it all. So that was pretty fun. But excited to see, what happens there. Anything else, Chris? Anything else you want to share with the audience?
Stable is coming up soon too. I just remember
they're gonna have a validator.
No. Stably is issuing the native USD stable
on Corium.
On Corium, yeah. It was they were part of the.
How is that gonna work when we don't have a DEX yet?
It's basically more like an on ramp directly on chain. Yeah.
And is IBC still coming in Q4? Is that like the agenda?
I don't know if we set a specific date, but it's
yeah, I think it's Q4. Yeah, it's on the roadmap.
And governance probably is going to start around then too.
Around then, yeah. What are you going to say, Chris?
No, I think I don't have anything to add. Thank you for your support, by the way. You're awesome on Twitter and Instagram. Like, you're such a big supporter of both Corium and Sologenic. And we appreciate community members that are so ecstatic about what we're building and just our projects in general. So appreciate it a lot.
I got all the airdrops. I found out about you guys when you guys did the first airdrop, and so many other people did too, and just been on this journey. And I noticed that nobody talked about this project, and I started making YouTube videos, and here I am. So, Fabio, anything you want to leave with the community?
I really want to commit to doing more Twitter Spaces. I know we've been super busy, but I want to get at least one weekly, and Chris is going to help me with that. And just overall, this summer, we really want to focus on creating more educational content as well. I feel like we have a lot on Sologenic, for example, that we're just waiting for what's the next thing. And sometimes we forget that what we already have can be so much powerful. So we want to highlight some of the success stories. Like, you've done successful NFT collections. You've done projects that were built there. And then with the IDO, there's a whole new plethora of tools that they can use. So yeah, I think I want to.
I know many people that have really changed their life with NFT, starting an NFT brand on Sologenic Marketplace, and a lot of them times they'll start a Sologenic, and then you'll see them grow and they're on other they're grow from so. But you guys give the tools for people to get started too, so it's pretty awesome. I've seen a lot of people.
And expect us to roll out a few more competitive features now in the next quarter. I wouldn't say against. We have a very synergic vision with the other marketplaces or other protocols built on the XRPL. That's why we're here.
One last question, actually.
but-
So you guys have the relationship with Uphold. How's the relationship with Ripple? Is that still going good? Are you guys still in collaboration at some
Yeah.
level?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we still have
we
a
work very
relationship.
closely with them for anything from marketing, from panels to whenever we have a new product update. For example, this new IDO, we just brief them. They are very aware of what we're doing on the security side of things as well. Like, it's just a lot of communication going. And then, like I said, we're onboarding some of their creator fund grantees from the NFT side of things.
So you've seen that their DEX went up like 34% recently, right? The XRPL DEX, like the usage went up 34%.
Yeah, that's why we built the market index. We really want to be able to provide the real-time metrics, and not just that, like more information, including the trust score, because we see that the ecosystem is growing. The ledger activity is growing. More XRPL tokens are going to come, and there needs to be a platform that kind of like it's the one-stop shop. So that's what we want to do.
So are they cheering for you guys to get the broker license? Like, do they want you to achieve that? Like, as far as I know, there's no one else trying to achieve that on the XRPL, right? Like, do you know anyone else trying to do that?
Not really, but I think we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. We're gonna see Link to, for example. I think they're doing something similar.
Directly, natively on XRPL?
Not sure. No, but yeah, I think we're the only ones bold enough to be doing that.
I'm sure they want you guys to win. Like, it'll bring so much more utility to the ledger. But yeah, guys, let's wrap it up. We're way over time today. Appreciate the studio letting us go over, but remember, subscribe and leave some comments, and everybody have an awesome day. Peace.